Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions on a miserable weather outside, Tuesday afternoon, 4 p.m. BST. I'm here with Richard Billings. Richard's first time doing a podcast. This is going into life after exit. Now, Richard only exited 4 weeks ago. So it's all pretty new, but I thought it would be good to get some shared experiences. I'm just going to share to the group, Richard. Do you want to let people know what you've been up to this week?
This week, after exit, I had a couple of weeks off and sat back a little bit and tried to take it all in. But then I just started sort of getting itchy feet and itchy fingers and whatever, wanted to get back into it. So the last couple of weeks, I've been researching and looking at new products.
Cool. Do you want to just take it back to the beginning? Let's get a little bit of context on what's been going on with you. So let's go back to how did it all start, and then we can lead up into the exit. So it started about 5 years ago. So what were you doing before you found out about Amazon, and how did you discover it? Right.
Well, I mean, I'd always been intrigued to try and do something online, to make money online. So I was trying bits and pieces, nothing really working for a good couple of years or so. And to be honest, I was about ready to close the laptop and forget it, because I was getting a little bit peeved off that nothing was working. So, but then someone that I was following did a short course on Amazon. So I thought, okay, let's do this, go with this. It wasn't expensive, and I did the course, went through it, got a good product to start with, and that sort of hit the ground running, really. And then I went from there, and then 6 months later I was doing it sort of full time.
So what did you do? Was it ASM or something like that, or was it another course that you undertook?
It wasn't actually. It was a lady called Jo Barnes did a course where she'd done ASM, and she was doing kind of an over-the-shoulder course of her own that we just followed over a period of time, and did sort of shared her experience of finding products and everything, and it was about a 12-week course, and then come out the other side with a decent little business.
Cool. So did you nail it straight off the bat? So you said you went full time on it. So obviously, being an inventory rich business, you must have got to cash flow pretty quick to cover your costs, or did you live off savings or something like that?
No, I did hit a good product straight away. I started with 500 units, which obviously doesn't work too well. So it was sort of putting money into it. 500 units of going, you've got to put a bit more into it to get more units and more units. I had to go through that process. And
so how did you borrow some money and stuff? I mean, at the very beginning, obviously 500 units. What was you insert in terms of capital, and then where did you have them stages where you had to keep feeding it? Was it like you had good enough return on investment that you didn't have to go out and get outside cash? Did you get an Amazon loan or what?
No, I just had some savings, so I used the money that I had. But obviously, to start with, I was apprehensive about everything, so I put, just got 500 units, and then when they went, it was a case of I've got to get some more without really getting the money back for them yet. So got some more. The return was pretty good, because at that time I wasn't spending. In fact, don't even think I did any PPC for about the first 6 months.
Right. So what did you find? You start in the US at the very beginning? So you found a nice niche where there was just organic flow there anyway, and you didn't have to heavily invest in PPC. I mean, if you're going back to 2015, when did you launch? Because it was only around that time that PPC really started to pick up in terms of Amazon. I think they only introduced it at the beginning of the year, from my memory.
So I think my first product went live on the 15th of June, 2015.
Yeah. And then, so obviously you sold through organically, you got off to the races there. So how much capital did you pump into year one, where you had to step it up, where you couldn't just go and reorder 500 units each time with the production cycles and the distance between the freighting and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got the figures in front of me now, but I would have thought in the region of about $15,000 to $20,000.
Yeah,
would have got me up where I wanted to be.
Yeah,
in front with everything.
Cool. And when did you hit your first million?
In the first year, in the first 12 months.
Cool. And how many products did you have to hit that?
5.
Okay, so you was pretty quick in terms of. Did you not have any failures or anything in that year? So you had a hero product out the gate.
No, I did have a failure. I had one failure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in that year you released 6 products in your first year, even though your first launch was in June. So you were quite rapid in terms of absorbing and learning.
Yeah, by the following summer.
Oh, sorry, by the following summer. Yeah. So you went for a first Q4 just on a single product.
Yeah, I think I had one other product at that point.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And then can you talk about the failure of the product, where it went wrong, or was it too closely related to the current SKUs?
No, well, it basically it tanked in price. Originally, when I started selling it, it was $16, $17 that you could, return. By 2 or 3 months in, the competition had come in and it brought it down. The price had brought it down to below $10.
Yeah.
Per unit per sale. So I just made the decision to pull that out, and the money was better spent elsewhere.
Yeah. So you got a year in, so you hit your first million in year 1, basically by June the following year. If we pick up the story from June 16, where did you go with the business from there?
I just carried on releasing some more SKUs into the US market. Probably took me up to the 4th quarter of that year. And then I started in the UK and Europe after that with the same products.
Okay, so there was enough velocity over in Europe and the UK to warrant that. Yeah,
they worked, and they've done pretty well over here as well. And then going on from that, it was becoming more and more difficult to launch products, in my opinion, in the US. So I decided to go wider in the UK and Europe. Yeah. As time went on.
Yeah. Cool. And so where was the point came when you decided it? So in total, you've had 1 failed product, right? That first year you had the failed product where it was just.
I've had a couple more since then.
Yeah. And what happened with those?
Similar things, really. Similar things. I think one product was I just got some bad reviews and I couldn't
turn it around.
So I decided that I couldn't get the quality I wanted to get for the product.
Yeah.
So I pulled that.
And was it because of product quality, or was it, attack on the listing, or
that one was product quality. I couldn't get the quality. I couldn't get it to do what I wanted it to do at the end of the day.
What you said on the tin, yeah.
And so so obviously that sort of resulted in some negative reviews, and so I just pulled it.
Cool. Tiffany says, good morning, guys. And here, Facebook user said, Richard Billings is such an awesome fellow, really inspirational story. So let's carry on with the story. So where did we go next? We got to 2016. You had a good Q4? Yeah.
I brought out some new products, a couple more products that were quite seasonal for the Halloween time as well. So they did well for a couple of years too, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot, because most of my other products generally have always been the 4th quarter's not been the best time for them. The best time has been through the summer.
Yeah.
Apart from the obvious, Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Yeah. So where did you get to the stage where you decided you want to sell? Is it this year? Is it year before? Whereabouts did all this start to begin?
Well, I've been wanting to sell for a good couple of years, but I'm not the most organised of people. And, you know, I don't have lots of SOPs and procedures and everything in place. I just kind of know what I want to do, and I just do it.
Yeah.
But it's not well documented what I do. So I knew that I needed to sort of change things a bit and get everything down that should be ready to sell, if you like.
Yeah.
And so I started to do that, and then like earlier in this year, I was contacted and, you know, approached to see if I would be interested in selling.
So when you started to prepare, did you know what to do? Did you bring in outside resources to help you get ready? So people that specialise in exits and stuff.
Yeah, no, not as such. I just sort of used my own common sense. You know, well, I know I need to do this. I know that needs sorting out.
Yeah.
So let's try and put everything together and get it all in place. I mean, it wasn't in place when I was approached by a long shot, but so happens that they had really good procedures in place that made my life easier in that respect.
Yeah. So we can say who the buyer was. It's Thrasio was the buyer, right? So they approached you earlier this year. Was this pre-COVID?
They approached me mid-COVID, I'd guess.
Okay.
June time. End of June.
Yeah.
They sent me an email out. I didn't respond to the first one.
You playing hard to get. You didn't want to show me the ankle. Yeah.
I was just getting on with things. I was just busy. I wasn't really thinking about it at that particular time, because during COVID, that time for me, the products were flying out the door, so I wasn't really thinking too much about it. Then a month later, I was contacted again, so then I responded, and so it was probably about the time I spoke to them was probably July.
Yeah, I mean, for to declare it here, you're with us at Databrill on the agency. Obviously, your business will move over to Thrasio as they roll it into their own systems and stuff. But I mean, COVID was quite impactful for a lot of people, but because of the nature of your products, you had a big uplift, and maybe COVID was actually beneficial for your sale, would you say, because of the nature of? Yeah,
I would say that. I was in the art and crafts category, so it was very much a lot of
being at home and all that kind of stuff.
But I do think that Thrasio understands what was going on at that time as well. So
they understood the market. So
they knew that what was happening because of COVID and things might have been a bit accelerated at the time. So it probably could well have had been beneficial.
So I forgot to ask you earlier on, I mean, do you just I know you outsource to us, but do you have like VAs and everything else, or was you doing everything yourself apart from outsourcing some key areas?
I had a VA that was doing all my sort of data entry, keeping a record of all my data on a daily basis, sales across the board, keyword rankings, that kind of thing, and also the customer service side. So she was brilliant.
Yeah. So effectively, you run it on your own, and apart from outsourcing your PPC, you've literally got a VA doing grunt work, and then you're just doing the rest.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of. I'd outsource the images.
Oh, of course, a bit of design, but that's not continual stuff, on a full-time basis. So basically, you were just running everything. And so, did you get to a stage where you got your products? You were just basically optimizing, upgrading them same products, or were you still stacking SKUs up to last year?
I slowed down a lot in the last year. It was just generally trying to keep things going. And like I said, when COVID hit, it was just really panic stations to try and just stay in inventory. Yeah, because and I couldn't really think about doing any more products at that time. Because it was hard enough just keeping in the ones in stock that I had. So getting inventory over from China, because that's where mine comes from, was difficult.
So let's walk through the deal. Obviously, not the details of the deal because of obviously that's got to be kept separate. But meaning is that preparation. It's a ball ache. Did you have to just go back through the whole business with a fine tooth comb? Did you have to restructure the accounting and stuff? What were some of the problems that you had to get ready?
The biggest problems I had is that I'm not, like I said before, I'm not very good at keeping records and everything. So yeah, I did have to go back and dig stuff out that I didn't know where I was going to find it, but I found it.
Yeah.
But the good thing about Thrasio is that you get a shared folder.
Yeah.
And you just have to put, certain things in these folders for them. And so you know what to do next.
Yeah, there's a structure in place. You're filling out all the templates to provide them with the data in a structured format.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And so how long did that take to put all that stuff together, to go in, complete all their sheets and everything so it's ready, so they've got something to look at, and obviously the news guys can sit around the table, or not around the table, Zoom or exchange emails to really start to develop the deal?
Well, the deal was offered very early on in the process before having to submit all the documents. They basically you just give them sort of access to your account, and they look at your account and work out a deal for you based on that. And for me, I thought they came back with a very fair and good deal.
Yeah.
But then like I said, then you start submitting everything, and it does for me it got stressful because like I said, I don't keep my records documented very well. So for me to find everything, and then you submit them, you put them in, and then they come back and they say, oh, well, now we need this, and it just seemed to go on forever and ever.
Yeah.
And it did get quite stressful. But obviously you just keep the end goal in sight, in your mind, right? So
did you negotiate? Did you bring in a legal team or anything? Like, I'm quite impressed because most people would outsource certain parts, like parts of the negotiation. This is your first exit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm imagining that maybe you've read up on it, but you weren't that as knowledgeable as you are now about it.
I did have a legal team.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
And were they based? Where did you source those? Are UK based or?
Yeah, they're UK based. Yeah. Up the country. So I think they're from around Leicester way.
Yeah. So what was like? Did that take some of the weight off you as well, knowing that you've got experts to take care of certain things?
Yeah, dramatically. Yeah, because you've got. I think as well, Thrasio, they want you to have a legal team. They don't
of
think
course.
that you go through and negotiate without one.
Yeah,
they might do, but they were very, very, they were concerned about it to make sure you had one.
Yeah.
And the legal guys that I had were brilliant because they went through it all, and we swapped contracts a few times before we agreed on it.
Yeah. And how long did it take to close the deal for you guys, from start to finish, from the opening offer to obviously?
Yeah. So the offer, I think, came through end of July, and then we closed end
September 30th. Yeah. So end of July. So So I think their average is about 45 days that they close. So it's not too. Yeah. It's within that window.
It's probably because I had to find all my documents.
Yeah. So, but sometimes it can take a long time for, I know people might spend a year getting ready, not meaning that they're working on every single day, but the initial idea, then into talks, then speaking to different buyers. And I think that you find in the space, it depends on the buyer as well. It's like Thrasio is a professional buyer, so they've got hundreds of SOPs to make that happen fast. But then you're going to have people out there that have never bought an Amazon business before.
Yeah.
And it's effectively, let's just say it's their own money, it's their first investment. They don't know much about Amazon, so there's maybe a lot more hand holding and questions asked on the buyer's end because they don't have the experience of someone who's obviously hoovering up companies on a monthly basis. So it's a different perspective there, isn't it? So where let's go down to the last 72 hours. Walk me through the emotions of that.
Well, it was. I think it was getting tight because things had dragged on a little bit longer than we wanted them to.
Yeah.
And I think they were wanting to close by the end of September because they were finished on that quarter and get it in.
Yeah.
And the only delays we was getting was from my accountant. So that because I needed information from their side. So it was getting a bit tense. Like, I need this, and it was, but yeah, we got there in the end. And then when it went through, it was good. But even when it went through, the money didn't, we exchanged contracts, but the money hadn't shown in the account until the next day. And it was getting, why isn't the money there?
So walk me through that feeling when you see what you see in the bank account.
It's a bit surreal, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was a bit of mixed emotions. Like, it was great that you've got that money in the account, and then it's like, right, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, I mean, this is the key thing. I think we've done 6 or 7 of these, and everyone we've brought on, like, no one's run out and bought a Lamborghini or anything like that. Some people didn't celebrate it. I know Michelle, she was over in China with me and a few of the other guys. Didn't get a chance to hit the ground because she went out with her buyer to go and visit the factories just as they closed in a hotel room. She didn't get back to Dan and her family for another couple of weeks. So it's funny because, like you said, it's a surreal moment, but it's I think a lot of people's expectations in their mind may be different to what to expect. Maybe some people think they're running around with a big cardboard check, do you know what I mean, jumping in the air, but it's like people don't necessarily have that same response, But the point I'm coming around to, the most common thing is like, fuck, what do we do now? Because you were used to regular income, and it's nice having all that money sitting in the bank. Yeah. But then you're going, I don't really want to touch that money. I want to reinvest it, or I want to leave it in the bank. I don't want to be chipping away at it. And then it's like, now the clock's ticking to go and get a regular revenue stream. So suddenly you go from having the richest day of your life, and then you go into a panic, like saying effectively, I ain't got a fucking job. What do I do now? So what were your emotions in and around that?
It's very, very much like that. I was, it was great to see the money bank, and it's like, what we're going to do now? And then I had a couple of weeks where I just didn't do much, just chilled out, relaxed, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I've got to get some money in because I don't want to keep touching this money.
Yeah.
You almost feel like you've got less money.
Yeah.
Because you've got.
It's you've become the richest you've ever been in your life. But then suddenly you're worrying about spending the money that you've got, which a lot of people don't have. Their worries especially in COVID, there's people out there that want to, they're trying to make ends meet. But then you get a new upgraded worry because it's like, okay, where do I bring in a new regular income to not spend the money I have got, which is a wonderful position to be in. But then it still gives that entrepreneurial anxiety going, I ain't doing enough. So you've had a 2-week break, right?
Yeah.
But you're getting ready to go again now, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I've decided. Yeah. Originally I was like, shan't I go again? I was unsure what way to go, really.
Yeah.
But then, after a couple of weeks, just you're so used to doing what you're doing, getting up, going in the office, having a look what's going on.
Yeah.
And it just got to the stage where I've just got to carry on, just got to do it again. And to be honest, I was almost sort of ready to do that on the build up to the sale. I was gearing myself up to that. But I'm looking forward to this. I was almost ready for that sale. It came at a good time for me. And so I was sort of thinking about it a lot then, I was thinking, right, I'm excited about starting a new brand. But then when I sold it, when I sold it, I wasn't sure, shouldn't I? But yeah, now I've got everything in place now to start again.
Yeah. And so what are you going to change now that's going to be different from last time round? Now you've got, I say no legacy. You've run the business on your own, apart from a couple of service providers and the VA. What are you going to do differently this time?
I think this time I feel a little bit like the pressure's off. So I'll probably take my time a little bit more.
Mm.
But at the same time, I know last time I could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
To make it bigger than it was. So probably take the next 2 years of trying to push it as hard as I can, but without that kind of this has got to work feeling that I had sometimes last time.
Yeah. So are you planning this time round, you're going to treat it like I'm going to go for another exit again. I'm going to set this business up so it's sale ready and I'm just going to gun it effectively for the next 24 months and see where it takes you?
Yeah, I think that is my initial thoughts at the minute. That's how I want to do it right now.
So what about other forms of income? Have you thought about what you're going to do for a bit of regular money? Because obviously in year one, if you're going to build out a brand and grow it rapidly, unlikely to be taking a wage from that business because the amount of inventory and stuff you got and launch costs and stuff.
Yeah, sure. I've lined up to speak to someone regarding where to invest and so on and what to do. So I am looking at how I can use the money that I've got to get a regular income coming in.
Yeah. So making certain investments and stuff. You think about maybe property or?
Yeah, I'm thinking about property. I've got to speak to an advisor to see, to see what's out there and what you can do, because I don't really know. I haven't got a clue in that area at all.
Yeah, well, it's only been 4 weeks. Like you said, you've had 2 weeks off. You've had carpenters banging up and down your house, and you're getting some works done there. But the good thing is you're getting ready to go again. When you planning to launch, obviously next year, but is it early next year or?
Yeah, I think I'll probably launch in February.
Yeah, launch in February.
I've got 1 to 2 products now that I'm getting some finished samples of.
Yeah.
The next couple of weeks or so, because I already had some products lined up to add to my other brand prior to the sale, and after the sale, I've got agreement that I can do them products. So because they're not restricted within the contract or anything.
Yeah. And have you got? I forgot to ask earlier on. How did you celebrate? Once you crossed the line with the deal, did you go out? Did you do anything or?
Not a lot, really. No, to be honest.
Didn't take the missus out for a meal.
We went out. We got something in. We did things, but nothing drastic at all. To be honest.
Yeah.
So.
And how do you feel this has changed your life?
What it's done is it's just made me feel more secure.
Right.
In a way, I don't think it will change my life dramatically at all. Yeah. It's just given me that bit of security.
Well, it hasn't changed who you are. I've known you, for 4 or 5 years? I think I've known you now. From networking events originally, and we spent a lot of time together. But and you haven't changed at all as a person. You're still doing your thing, So what's do you have what's the one thing you want to get done in the future outside this business? Is there anything you want to go for? Is there any hobbies or anything that's giving you the opportunity that you want to try out?
I don't know, really. I mean, not particularly, to be honest. I do a lot of cycling, but not at the minute because of the weather. But so it might give me the opportunity to do a lot more of that, and maybe go abroad and do a bit of that.
Yeah.
If we can go abroad, but no, I don't know. To be honest, I know it's quite boring, but it's
cool. Well, look, let's wrap this here. If people want to reach out to you, can we give them some details? Can they hit you up on Facebook for advice and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, or email address. What do you want to give out to people?
You can find me. rbillingo1@gmail.com.
And obviously Richard Billings on Facebook, yeah?
Yeah, or Richard Billings on Facebook, yeah.
Cool. Guys, I'll be back here tomorrow. It is the Seller Poll brought to you by Frasio live finale. I'll be bringing on some of the winners. Tonight is the last chance to vote. It all finishes at midnight UK time. I'll be back here 4 p.m. BST tomorrow. Take care of your family, and I'll see you then.